Hello and welcome. My name is Heidi and this is Heidi's Homemade. This is a video all about cross stitch, and so if you're interested in cross stitch, you're in the right place. I have a few finishes. I don't have any fully finishes this time. I do have several whips. And I have a few things that I've acquired, whether they were from the freebie table or from my purchases. I did purchase a few patterns from Etsy and elsewhere. So I do have that coming up at the end of the video. Let's see. Not a whole lot going on in regular life. School just keeps going, and we're a couple of weeks out from spring break, so we are currently working on wrapping up the units that we're working on and getting through a bunch of testing type stuff before spring break happens. So there's that. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Been working on cleaning my apartment some. If you're familiar with my videos, my background has changed slightly. I have updated some stuff. I cleaned and dusted. I really needed to dust. Welcome to Arizona. So much dust. Yeah, anyway, if you haven't seen my videos before, I am located in Mesa, Arizona, and it is dusty here. So much dust. But today is February 17th. It is President's Day, so there's no school, which is why I'm filming today. And it's been about 3 weeks since I last filmed. I am still shooting to try to get back to my every 2 weeks, but I just don't know time-wise. I tend to run out of time to do filming, so we will see if I can figure that out. So yeah, let's get right into stitching, shall we? So first up, I guess, would be my planner. Last time I told you about the planner that I have. This is a 3-year planner that I picked up to do for my cross stitching journal, I guess. I'm not super thrilled about it. As I said last time, it's serving the purpose of keeping track of what I'm stitching on. However, there's not any extra space in it like you would with like a happy planner or something like that, where I can write more details about what I'm stitching and why or whatever. So I feel like I don't have a lot of space. When you look at this, you're going to be like, you have tons of space, but I don't want it to be too cluttered. I want to be able to look at it quickly and see what I stitched on, because that is how I grab my whips from my stack before I film. Is I look at this and I say, oh, okay, I've worked on this, and this, and that's what I pull out. But anyway, last time you saw this, January was almost done. I filmed here, so this whole week came after filming, and I stitched most days except for one. And then February apparently was my gnome month. So it looks like I haven't stitched a lot, but most of these stickers are just decoration because the week doesn't start till here. So there's only been a couple days so far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days so far this month that I haven't stitched, which is better than what I had last month. Last month was a very hectic month as far as not having any time to stitch. But I did get a couple finishes, and you will be seeing those shortly. And we're about halfway through we're a little over halfway through the month. And yeah, doing some good stitching time. So there's that. I still have not decided if I'm going to go ahead and get a different planner and just transfer the information. Still kind of iffy on funding and everything, so we will see. If it's get a couple new patterns or get a new planner, I will probably get a couple new patterns. if that is the choice, that's probably going to be the choice. So I have a few finishes, no fully finishes again. I have a couple that I have thoughts on how I would like to finish them. So those might be, you might be able to see those next time if I get my act in gear and get stuff going. But I do have several whips. I decided to pull out my Tiny Decisions wheel. Focus. There we go. My Tiny Decisions wheel. So I pulled up all of my whips. Some of them I did just do the name of the designer because I have a couple whips under the same designers. So I just put down like ink circles. So when it comes up ink circles, then I will choose which ink circles I want to work on that day. Because I think I have like 3 ink circles going right now. Stuff like that. So for the last week maybe, I have been letting my Tiny Decisions wheel decide what I am going to stitch on. So enough about talking. Let's look at some stitching, shall we? So first up was a start and finish. I had decided last year that I was going to work on, once I got them, of course, I was going to do the 12 monthly minis by Primrose Cottage. Ooh, there it is. And I was going to do one a month to get through the whole thing. I might end up doing more than that, but if I do one a month, I'll be happy. So anyway, I did February. And February is that one with the hearts. So here is my February. And this is on 40 count raw. And I did change the colors. I think the white, honestly, is the only color that was called for. When I looked at the colors I had pulled, because I pulled all the colors for the whole thing, but apparently I had missed one, so I just pulled 2 colors that looked good together and did them. So there is my February monthly mini. I started it one night and I finished it the next day because I got tired. So there's that. So there is my February monthly mini, and then that's my January. So I'll be able to fit 4 of them on this scrap piece of 40 count raw, and then I have another piece that I should be able to fit the next 4 or so on. And I don't know, they will probably end up being little pillows, but I'm not really sure. Not really a big hurry to figure out what they're going to be, because I still have 10 more to stitch. So there is that. Okay, moving on. The next thing that I have finished is Caterpillar cross stitch. This was in one of their boxes that when I was still subscribing to them, which I might do it again, but this one is it's a Pigeon Coop Designs that was done through Caterpillar cross stitch, and it is called Climb Every Mountain through their kits. It's called something different. It's like a Walk Through the Pines or something like that on his website. And the colors are different on the one that he has on his website. But I have it done. And this one I do plan on doing a hoop finish on. I did not stitch it in a hoop, so I had to find a hoop to put it in. It is going to be in a 6-inch hoop. And I'm thinking about buying one of those frames that you hang the hoop into. And then this one is probably going to go to my classroom. But that one is done, and whenever my Tiny Decisions wheel decides to let me start a new thing, I think I might start Pigeon Coop designs. There are several that I want to do. I have the book that he put out, and in my haul at the end of the video, you will see some that I just purchased from his website too. Okay, so sorry, I have like hiccups a little bit. And you might hear Sirius drinking some water too. Next one up is Neon Cicada by Bad Stitch. I started this as a New Year's Eve start. If you watched my videos before, I did start 7 new starts for New Year's between New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and they were all ones that my my fiance had purchased for me for Christmas that he did not get to actually give to me. So I started all those for New Year's, and this one I finished. So this one is again Neon Cicada. And this is on me-dyed fabric. It started out as an 18 count, so because of the dyeing process, it's probably closer to a 20 count. But I really like how the colors pop on this one. I have not decided how I'm going to finish it. However, I think I have decided that I'm going to stitch it again. I have plenty of this fabric left, so I think I might stitch it again. Find a spot that I like, maybe down here in this area, because I think what I want to do is make it into a small for a smalls exchange, because it just is so pretty. I want to share it. So and once I was stitching on it, it really did not take that long. So I really am thinking, because I still have all the flosses kitted up, it didn't take much floss at all. And since I still have all the flosses kitted up, that while I still have it in like ready to go, I'm going to do another one on the other side of the fabric. And then once I do that, I will decide how I want to finish them. Sirius is playing with his bone, like directly under me. So, but he's being funny. The next thing I finished, the Tiny Decisions wheel pulled this one, and I started this one. I want to say this was a Mania start 2 years ago. And if you remember from my previous videos, I struggled with this one because I had started it wrong in this purple one. And so I had to basically frog out everything that I stitched and start it over again, because that's how badly I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So this one is now finished and can be done with whatever. I think I'm going to frame this one. I have some gothic looking frames, so if it fits, then that is what is going to go into it. So this is my finish, and I don't know if you can see it, but the thread for the spider and the web is like a gunmetal metallic, and then the gold for the labels is also in, like, surrounds the labels on the bottles, which I added in. That was not called for around the label on the bottle, but I added that in. And I also added in the metallic for this, because that wasn't called for either. But it is cute. I really like it, and it is finished, so even better. It is on a piece of 40 count I honestly don't know what the fabric is. It's probably a generic fabric that I picked up off of Amazon. I don't think it is my vintage needle arts because it doesn't look like it's her dyeing process. So I think it's just a generic like an off-white color kind of thing. Sandy, almost like a pale sandy. So that is all of that is all of my finishes. So that's 4 finishes. I think that's pretty darn good. 1 start finish and then 3 finishes. And then moving on to the whips. So some of these I have more progress than others. And if I have pictures, which I should because most of them were in my whip parade at the beginning of the year. So if I have pictures, I will put them up as normal. But the first one I have to show you is Satsuma Street. Hang on, I don't want to show you the pattern. Satsuma Street Turtle Doves. I am working my way through all of the Christmas ornaments. I've done several. I want to get through a couple more before I start beading anything. And honestly, I would prefer to get through all of them before I started beading them. I did recently finish Wise Guy from the Halloween collection. That is the only one that I have in a kit. So that one has its own beads, but otherwise I will be using my own beads and sequins that I have in my stash to finish these. So this is Turtle Doves by Satsuma Street. And that is number 2 of the 12 Days of Christmas ones that she's doing. And here is my start. I only worked on this for like 1 evening. And I think, I'm not sure if I have a picture of this because when I started it, I had just put just a few stitches in I think this dark bluish color. I'm not really sure. I think I had started it before my whip parade, but I don't know how far I gotten on it. So there is that, and I will probably go back to that sooner rather than later so I can get that one finished and potentially start on another one. Those I kind of stitch on in between other things because they don't take very long, and sometimes my eyes just get tired of looking at really small squares or holes, and so I switched to those for a little while just to give my eyes a rest, and it's because it's really easy to see. Okay, moving on. One of the ones that my Tiny Decisions wheel had pulled out for me was Haunted Mansion. And this one I've shown several times. It has been pulled out a lot. This one was a start with my friend Melissa. And it is very close to a finish. I will have the picture of what it looked like before up, and this is what it looks like now. All I have really left of the regular stitches is the outline part that comes up like here, that matches this side. And then there's a lot of back stitching, and I think that is honestly what has been slowing me down on this project is the fact that I know that the back stitching is coming. And since I'm not really a huge fan of doing back stitching, I have been dragging my feet getting there because that is literally almost everything I have left is back stitching. once I get done with that little bit of corner piece, then it's just all back stitching. So that one would probably take one more really good day of stitching, but I will let my Tiny Decisions wheel decide when I will stitch on that next. So, because I'm in no rush to do all that back stitching, just not. I feel like it needs it because it would look really weird without it. Not like just not finished, you know. But doing it and knowing that it needs it are two totally different things. So my next one that I have to show you, if I don't show you the whole pattern first, not trying to. Lost my needle threader out of that one before Sirius decides to grab it and chew on it, because that is a thing. My Tiny Decisions wheel pulled up Caterpillar Cross Stitch, How Does Your Garden Grow? And this one I was stitching on pretty heavily there for a while, and then I kind of lost my mojo on this one. So it went away, and Tiny Decisions decided to bring it back. There will be a picture of where it was. I only stitched on this for about an hour. So there's not a whole lot of change, but I did finish the snail's body and start in on his shell. So that is what I've added. And eventually he will get there. When I pick him up again, I will continue on the shell because that is what I have the color already pulled out for. And once I do that, I will probably, because it's the same color, if I have any left after doing his little curly Q shell, then I will come up here to where the lavender plants are and fill in that. But again, I don't know when that will be. We will see when my wheel decides to pull that one next. And this one is in a really cute gnome bag that I got from Dot Goose Designs. It is a gnome bag. So the other bags I've shown are my bags. So there's that one. Okay, next up, the wheel decided that I needed to stitch Durian Jones. And I do have a couple of hers, so it just says Durian Jones. But I picked to grab the Green Man. This was a leap year start. So this I started last year about this time, almost a year ago. And because it's a leap day start, that means I have 4 years to finish it, right? I am doing this one on Mimosa Green. And this is where I've gotten so far. I will have had put a picture of what it was at. So basically, I filled in more green. Go figure, green. But this leaf right here at the top of his head is almost filled in completely. I have 1.5 colors left because I have one new color that I haven't touched yet, which is a very pale green that goes here and outlines this one. And then there's one that I have done that I obviously did not do all of it because I probably ran out of thread before I changed my color. So this is what I have so far. And it's a lot of stitching. I put in a ton of stitches. I worked on this for probably about 4 hours. And I put in a ton of stitches, a lot of stitches. I don't know as if it looks like I put in a ton of stitches, but I did. No, it wasn't 4 hours. More like 3. So, the next thing is, so I have a mini finish and a mini start, I guess. So this is the Stoneware Pinpillows 3. I have 1 and 2 finished. They are on my tree over here. And I had started this one last year's 12 by 12, I think I started it. And I just, because I had done the other 2, I just was not in a hurry to get this one completed. So I had started this one. So I finished this one when I pulled it out, when my Tiny Decisions wheel told me to pull out this one. I finished this one, and I started the next one, which is super impressive. There you go. It's super impressive. That one is this one that I'm doing. So I did this one, and now I'm doing this one. And I'm doing this set on Vintage Country Mocha, 36 count. And I'm using the same floss that I did with all 3 of them. The fabric I did slightly different. I did them slightly different tones. The color I'm using for floss is Black Raspberry Jam by Gentle Arts. And it is probably one of my favorite colors that they do. But that is where I'm at with that. Next up, I told you I've been touching a lot of stuff because my Tiny Decisions wheel has decided that I need variety in my life. So, next up, I showed you this last video, and I took it out after that and put in a little bit more. So this is Forest Home by Blue Flower. And some flosses hanging out here. I'm not going to open the whole thing because it's just the corner of it that I have stitched on. So this is what I have. Last time I had started this bridge, so I went in and finished the bridge, and then once I finished the bridge, I went up and started in on the variegated blue. It's the first of the fancy flosses that I've put into this one. So this one got another couple hours of stitching put in, and this is on 40 count raw. So, and that's like the whole top corner is almost done. Once I get that blue filled in, the whole top corner is almost done. I just have to, when I pull out these colors again, I will fill in that. And I have not filled in the little trunks of the trees yet because it's like 8 stitches and I'm waiting to get to that color somewhere else before I go back and fill that in. So there's that. And then put that back in there. And that is in my Garden of Zig bag that I did. Okay, this is one. Okay, my last 2 are ones that my Tiny Decision wheel picked for me to take to AZ Stitchers yesterday. for some reason, it picked 3 different patterns with birds on it. One of them I did not get to. I got to 2 of them. And so this one, I'll do this one first, because this one I actually stitched at AZ Stitchers. And this one had been in timeout for a while because I had to make decisions. This one is Nevermore by Lila Studio. And I am doing the Forbidden Fabric Co. conversion on this one. And I am using the Forbidden Fabric Co. kit that I bought for it. And there was not enough thread. I'm doing 2 strands on 18 counts. I don't use 2 strands on 18 counts much anymore, but at the time that I did this, I was still using 2 strands on 18 count, and lots of people do. But there is no way that I have enough floss to do all of the motifs the way that it shows. So it was in timeout for quite a while I was making decisions and thinking about how I was going to continue on that. And let me take this out of the hoop because I was stitching on this yesterday. So I think my decision is that I will stitch what I can with the Forbidden Fabric Co. flosses. My main concern is that the raven is all one color and that the motifs are all in the same color. Whether it's the called for, I'm not really concerned about that as long as it goes. I'm more concerned of that the motifs all end up in the same colors. So, yes, I have already started picking some other flosses to continue this with. But where I'm at now is much further than where I was at before. So I added almost this entire motif. I had this little pattern and like half of this medallia done. So I added in the rest of that and the rest of this. And then I went up and I added in half of this triangle part and then started in on this one. And I did all of that while I was at AZ Stitchers yesterday. And this is on the Forbidden Fabric Co. Fabric Morning Mist 18 count. So I have gone into the second page because there's 4 pages. So this side was page 1 and then this side is page 2, I think. I don't know. And then there's a 3 and a 4. But like I said, I think I have came to my decision as to what I'm going to do for the other flosses. And as I stitch more on those, you will see what that decision is. It's not going to, I think it's going to look like I meant to do it because the colors that I am pulling are very similar to the colors that I'm using. So I think it's going to look very much so like it was meant to be that way. I just had to wrap my head around the fact that it wasn't going to follow the called for. So yeah, so I stitched on that for a good, let's see, AZ Stitches is like a 6-hour thing, so I probably stitched on that for a good 4 hours or so. If you take out breaks for snacking and chatting and stuff. So yeah, I think I got some good progress on that one yesterday. The last one that I worked on yesterday, I actually worked on this at home after I got back from AZ Stitchers. My decisions wheel told me to pull out Under the Garden Moon, which is a set of bird patterns that all kind of go together. And the designer is Under the Garden Moon, and there's 5 different patterns. I am stitching it on 25 count even weave. And I did the first one in the middle, 2 over 2. And then my intention is to do the other 4 along the outside. And this is what I have. So this little bird, I had like half of his belly done. So I finished up him, and then I added in the little flower that he is looking at. And then the flower has a vine that goes all the way around him. And then he will be done. He's got a little bit of back stitching, and I think it's supposed to be French knots, but I'm probably just going to put little crosses in, especially since I'm doing it on 25 count even weave. I can place them in wonky places if I want to. So yeah, so I'm doing him 1 over 1 on 25 count. And once I get him done, I will be able to move on to another corner and add in one of the other patterns I have not done yet. So there is that. And those are all of my whips. A lot, I feel. But like I said, a lot of them I only worked on for like one night because my Tiny Decisions wheel decided that's what I should work on. And I kind of like that. If there is one that I start working on that I think if I just give this like another day, I can finish it, then I will continue working on it. But if it's not something that I can get finished like in like one more day, I will probably put it away and spin the wheel again for the next day. That is kind of my thought process right now. Because then I don't have to think about it too much and I can just move on. So that leads me into some haul. So the first thing I have to show you is this one I picked up on the freebie table yesterday at AZ Stitchers. This is Black Work Peacocks by Joan Elliott Designs, and it is mostly black work. There's a little bit of cross stitch in it, but it's almost all black work. And I'm not a fan of back stitching, but I have a friend who does a lot of black work, and she has strongly suggested that I give it a shot because it's not the same as doing back stitch. And I get that. It's not going through stitches. So when I saw this, I thought I would pick it up. I do like the pattern. I like the idea of the peacocks. And I do like the idea of it being one floss. However, it is done in black. I think I would pick something that is like a tonal blue or green, or even something that goes from like a blue to a purple. Maybe pick up some like Threadworks or something that has that really nice variegation. I don't know. But I'm thinking something like that to make it really pop. And it's on a 14 count. I will definitely not be doing a 14 count because I don't want it to be that huge. I will probably be doing it on like an 18 count. Although if I do one of my, thoughts. If I do it on one of my hand-dyed fabrics that I've just done and pick one that is like a blue or one of the purples, then I could either pick a corresponding color to go with it or do it in a black or a white, and that would probably pop. White would look cool. That's a thought. I might do that. Anyway, when my wheel tells me that I can start something new, maybe that will be what I start. Who knows? Depends on the mood I'm in when I start stitching. So, my next things that I have purchased are, I got like 3 or 4 different Pigeon Coop designs. So I got this one. This is Spring Robin by Pigeon Coop. And I got Orchard Raven. And my printer is being weird, so like the ink is a little, looks faded. But it's still visible, so it's fine. And I got Blooming Swan. I really like. This one and the Orchard Raven are the ones I really liked. And then I got Jolly Squirrel, because squirrel. And that's what I got from Pigeon Coop Designs. Then on Etsy, I picked up a few patterns from Nath Nola Cross Stitch Patterns. This one I thought was super pretty. It kind of reminds me of like one of those like little ceramic birds. And this is the one that led me to her page to begin with. She posted it on Instagram, and I don't even know if I followed her at the time, but I saw this and I had to have it. And so this one will be high on the, when I start something, this is going to be one that I start, because Cozy Nest with this cute crow knitting a sock with like the picture of the crow up here. It is adorable. And it's just adorable. I will be doing this soon, I think. So there's that one. Then, because I think she was running like a 15% sale too when I got these. So let's see. This one, the last one I got from her shop is this cute little pumpkin guy. And it is Cozy Night, and it's nathnolaetsy.com. The little pumpkin guy is just so cute. So yeah, there's that. And I did download the new hands-on design that she put out. So I got that one. For her anniversary stitch. So I got that. And my ink is really bad in my printer. I'm thinking about getting a new printer. My printer is not doing well. The screen on it, I can no longer touch the screen on it, and it's not reading the ink in it anymore, really. And so it prints everything like it's slightly faded, because it doesn't register that there's brand new ink cartridges in it. So yeah, anyway, that's something that I will be looking at within the next month, probably, of buying a new printer. So I'm looking around. I do believe that is everything that I had to show you this time. So I haven't really been watching a lot of Flosstube lately. I've been a little busy. I have been doing some audiobooks, reading audiobooks, listening to audiobooks, as I have been doing some stitching, and yeah, so I haven't done as much Flosstube. I've watched some of my normal ones, just Keep Stitching, Sarah Stitchery, Helen D. I think those are like the main ones that I've watched recently, which those are like always on my list of ones that I watch kind of religiously. So yeah, that's about it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you've made it this far, thank you. So yeah, I don't want to say that I'll be back in 2 weeks, because I don't know. But I will be back as soon as I can. It will probably be at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. I think 2 weeks puts me into my spring break, so that might be more reasonable. Like 2.5 weeks or so. But, yeah. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.